Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Voices for Change 2.0, the only podcast that focuses on mental health while mixing in movies, music, books, sports, and pop culture. Here are your hosts, Rebecca and Joe Lombardo.
Hey, good morning, and welcome to Voices for Change 2.0.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Thanks for tuning in to us this morning. We are so grateful that you decided to get up on a Saturday morning and spend an hour with us humble folk.
Definitely, and especially today is a very big day for a lot of people, myself included, being World Bipolar Day.
Yeah.
It's great. It's amazing. The amount of posts that are popping up on Twitter already. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, I think we're going to be busy retweeting your hashtag all day long, babe.
Yeah, well, aside from my hashtag, that one's not quite as important as the other two, but...
Right, but still, it's going to be in there.
Yeah, so if you're going to tweet today, remember to use hashtag World Bipolar Day or hashtag This Is Bipolar. And if you do have bipolar disorder and you want to call in and chat about it a little bit today, please feel free. The number is 347-989-0126. And we'd be happy to chat with you. And I know I've already checked with our guests. Bipolar, I don't think, is their specialty. But I've talked to them, and they said they would be happy to entertain calls or what have you if we received any. So
yep,
we're grateful to them for that.
Yeah. So really quick, I've been on vacation all week this week, and it's been a busy vacation, but it's been nice getting to sleep in and just hang out a little bit, and we're planning anyway on. Yep. So we're planning on going out tonight and finally getting to go see Captain Marvel, which I'm looking forward to. Mainly with Avengers Endgame coming out next month, that I'm all super excited about. And they keep showing ads, and I keep getting more and more pumped up, and I'm like, why can't it be the end of April already? So.
Pardon me, I'm choking on water over here.
You all right, babe?
Yeah.
Okay.
I must admit, and I'm going against all the women that I know that have seen the movie, but I'm not that excited about Captain Marvel. I do like Brie Larson a lot, but I'm not entirely convinced that she was exactly right for the role. But, I'll go tonight and I'll see, and I'll probably be wrong, and that'll be fine. But
you heard it here first.
It wouldn't be the first time.
You heard it here first, people.
Yeah. So I'm sure everyone that's seen it has said it was a really good movie. There's been a few people I've seen here and there online that have said they didn't get why it was so impressive. So I rarely listen to critics or anything, so I'll make my own decision after the movie, but hopefully it's good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So that being said, talking about pop culture and all things groovy, we got a couple of groovy guys that we're going to be talking to today.
But they're not lovely and talented?
No, these guys are groovy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I'm sure they're lovely and talented. I will not dispute that in any way.
Okay.
But they're also really groovy. So, I welcome grooviness to our show.
Oh my God.
If you guys could only see the look on her face right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, they co-host a podcast. where they talk about mental health and how it's portrayed in popular media, movies, books, television, music.
Which is right up our alley.
It is right up our alley.
Very, very similar. So,
yeah.
We look forward to stealing some of their ideas. I mean, hearing. Hearing about what they do.
They're gonna figure it out, babe.
So we have Ryan, who is a therapist, and Mike, who is a mental health advocate. And like we said, they are the creators and the hosts of Psych 101. And we're really grateful to have them with us today. I've had this date scheduled for some time, so this is going to be a good show. So welcome aboard, guys. How you doing?
Hi.
We are great.
Yeah, doing really good.
Hi. We're great. Thank you
Rebecca,
so much for having us on.
Yeah, absolutely. Rebecca, I did want to say out of the gate, if you get any callers about bipolar, I'm also bipolar.
Oh, fantastic. No. Maybe I shouldn't say fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
But,
fantastic.
You have bipolar? That's great.
Yeah. I love it.
Oh.
Yeah, you know what I mean. You know where I was going with that.
Yeah, so while we may not be experts per se, we have both personal and professional experience with it, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I'm happy we established that. and the way we did. So, yeah. So, do
you guys have any questions for us before we jump on in?
Yeah.
No,
we're really excited. It was funny. We were talking before we came on. As you guys were talking about before we jumped in. It's just fun to talk to other people who are passionate about mental health and also other things. Sort of adjacent to that. So we have a lot of fun talking about, obviously, as you introduced us, in mental health as it's portrayed in pop culture. But, if you've listened to our show, we also try to have fun with it, as you guys do. So it's nice to talk to kindred spirits.
Yeah, absolutely.
Indeed it is. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to jumping in.
All right, so why don't you go ahead and ask the first question there, Jumpy?
Wow. Guys, I never get to ask the first question. This is new territory for me, so I'm excited.
It's groovy.
So, I know, it is groovy. You guys are
building it up.
Yeah.
I'm getting nervous.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so a question for each of you. Where does your mental health journey begin? Mike, if you want to answer first, that would be awesome. And then we'll get to Ryan.
Yeah, sure. Well, I think mental health is something that spans everyone's lifetime, whether you have a diagnosis or not. Like, it's just something to, be aware of and stay healthy in. But as far as my issues and my diagnosis, started real bad when I was about 19. And massive panic attacks, all sorts of just, bad things, not feeling well, and absolutely had no idea what was going on. And as you guys can probably both know, the climate about mental health back then was even more stigma. Like, you tell your friends and you get a lot of it's in your heads and that kind of thing. So I avoided therapy or even going to see anybody about it for like 5 or 6 years. And, and I just kind of been dealing with that ever since. And yeah, it just has been a long road, but I have worked hard to, learn about coping and living with it as that it's not me or my identification, but, just something I have, like, if I were to have, like, I don't know, no foot or something. Just living with it and keeping going forward.
Very cool.
That's kind of,
cool
yeah. And now I make Psych 101.
And what about you, Ryan?
Yeah, so it's an interesting question, and I've talked a little bit about it on the show. some of it goes back to experiences in childhood and just sort of wanting to understand both myself and other people and how, I would say, life events form us and form our thought patterns and form our emotional responses. So things that I experienced in childhood leading me towards majoring in psychology in undergrad, having some really formative internship and job experiences in the field, initially in addiction for several years. And obviously addiction carries with it a lot of mental health issues. So getting a lot of experience working with people who have, strict addiction issues, but then also what we in the field call dual diagnosis, people with addictive disorders and mental health issues. So over time, I transitioned into working with people who mostly only had mental health issues. And then obviously in today's climate, the addiction field and the opioid crisis and all that sort of thing is a very serious issue. But I found my calling kind of came more towards both a younger population. So I work with a lot of grammar school to sort of college age students now. And over time, I transitioned from working in inpatient units. Now I work only outpatient, essentially private practice model. But I am very grateful for the opportunity to work with people who have mental health issues, and any help I can provide both in direct practice and now in the podcasting realm is something that I've really enjoyed. And, just getting an opportunity to educate people, but also hopefully entertain people while also talking about mental health issues is something that we've really gotten enjoyment out of.
Cool.
And how long have you guys been doing the podcast now?
We started in October. Well, kind of started in October. Our first episode came out in October, but Ryan and I have been kind of working together since, June or July of 2018.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we just recorded our 26th episode, and that doesn't count all the sort of silly deleted scenes and other random stuff we upload, but our proper episodes, I think we just recorded 26 that'll be out on Monday.
That's right.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Congrats, guys. It's great.
Yeah, we crossed
Thank
that 25 marker.
Nice.
Apparently it's a big deal for podcasters.
Well, that's cool.
So, next question is let's we're going to direct the questions at you, at Ryan, or at Mike. That way we can avoid some of our talking over each other.
Yeah, Mike and I never
do
that to each other on our show, so that'll be completely different for us.
Yeah, believe me, we know.
We know a thing or two about talking over one another.
Yeah, we sure do.
Yeah. So, yep.
So I will go to Mike with this one. How long have you known each other?
Ryan and I? Yeah,
Yes.
I guess since before June or July, Ryan and I met on a forum in like a podcast support, learning things. And I'd been podcasting for a little bit, and we both had separate shows. So, yeah, we started talking and working together on his other show back in July. So not even a year yet.
So you guys are still in the honeymoon phase. Wow, I caught the wife off guard with that one, guys.
Good Lord.
I don't think she was expecting that. That was great. I wish you could have seen it. So very cool. So it's still relatively fresh for you working together. How has that been? Because I know before the show started, one of you is in New Jersey and one of you is in Missouri, right?
Right.
That's right.
Right. So how do you guys actually go about doing the show then? I mean, like we do ours through Skype. Do you do the same thing, or do you have a different way that you do it, or Dish? Tell us.
Yeah, so,
we do.
Yeah, Mike.
Okay, go right.
Well, yeah. So I was going to say, I'm Ryan is a therapist from New Jersey, by the way, and
okay.
as Mike mentioned, we started out. Mike was helping me out with some audio on my show, my individual podcast, which is in hiatus now, focusing all my attention on Pop Psych 101. And we started recording, I think, together at the same time, right around that time in October of last year. And the format that's really working well for us is we do Skype live, but individually record our tracks. And then Mike, who is a audio and visual guy, computer whiz, throws everything together and makes it sound real good. So we actually have a really nice working relationship in that, we're both experts in our own fields, if that makes sense. Like Mike brings a lot of value to what we're doing and, makes the show sound far better than I ever could have on my own. But also Mike brings his personal experience, which I think in terms of listeners being able to hear someone share their own experience is incredibly valuable, but also in breaking down things and asking questions and, doing things that I wouldn't think of on my own as a therapist, just sort of doing my own thing as I was before.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, and it does help having a tech background doing this stuff. It's a bit of a learning curve. It's definitely a bit of a learning curve, and that's why I'm grateful that we've got Scott, because
absolutely.
He's our go-to guy when it comes to actually doing the show and all that. And
I've been able to figure out a couple of the ins and outs of podcasting. Like, I have a separate Spreaker account so that we can just blanket the world with our podcast, essentially.
Blanket the interwebs.
Yeah. And I figured out how that works, but as far as actually producing a show, we'd be lost without Scott, so we're really grateful to him. So.
Yeah. And incidentally, if you hear any noise in the background, that's us trying to keep our youngest cat from getting into the closet.
Well, I can totally relate. My two cats are currently circling the bedroom as well, so no worries there.
Cool. Yeah, she is obsessed with trying to get in there for God knows why. But, so I just had to chuck a marker at her. So there's that. Live radio.
Yeah.
Ladies and
good
gentlemen.
Times.
Good times. So.
Okay, so next question will be for Mr. Mike. How important is sharing your story with other advocates?
With other advocates? Absolutely very important. I think, and admittedly, before Pop Psych started, I, had been in therapy and outpatient programs, inpatient programs a couple of times, but I kept it really very hidden as far as, basically only close friends and family knew that aspect of me. And when Ryan and I started working together, I realized, hey, I'm going to have to come out and say that I'm, bipolar more publicly now. And so, I never really thought of myself as an advocate until around that point, and until we've kind of gotten emails from people that we've helped them through different struggles. And so then I have taken my goal from just making a show and entertaining people to advocating. So I would say, it's really super important to, spread the message. Is definitely the number one goal is normalizing the conversation, and whether that be with mental health advocates or just people with mental health issues or people without them. It's all very important.
What? I'm sorry. He was staring at me like I had something planned to say, and I was just going to say that's great.
No, that's very cool. I've been the one responding.
Oh, okay.
So
all right.
I was giving you the opportunity. I didn't
thank you.
want to be help.
Well, I appreciate you coming forward and telling your story for sure. I know that I've had some similar experiences, And I was also diagnosed at 19, so we have some.
Oh wow, yes.
Some things in common there, but and looking back on my life, I know that I probably could have been diagnosed even earlier. But
sure.
nobody knew what was going on with me, why I was having the issues that I was having. So
yeah, and it's very brave, and I shouldn't have to say that it's very brave in this day and age, but it still is very brave for you to come forward and tell your story, Mike. It's there is still a lot of stigma out there, and
yeah, there is, but it's people
better.
Coming forth and telling their stories is becoming more and more of a common theme.
Yeah,
I feel like, and I could be just, way off base with this, but I feel like there's more positivity and people coming forward with their stories than there is stigma right now. And that isn't to say that there isn't stigma. Believe me, I know that there is. Mm-hmm. But I feel like maybe we're moving forward in a positive way and kind of canceling the negativity that when we all first started this mission that we were all facing.
Yeah, I would even say back when things first started for me, or not first started, but started getting more apparent, that it was, back then it was complete rejection if you told anyone, and now it's just a little awkward. So that's like a vast improvement from rejection.
For sure.
Yeah, and some of us are normally very awkward. So,
I just have to say one thing that's kind of funny. It doesn't relate to the topic necessarily, but we've had my niece, well, our niece and great niece staying with us. They aren't here today, but the baby is just 4 months old, and I sit here with my husband who has baby puke going down the shoulder of his T-shirt. And just kind of gives you the idea of what a vacation he's had over the past week.
Yes.
That is quite a visual.
It's been interesting, I'll tell you. Yeah, you reach a point where you throw up your hands and you give up. You're like, okay, I'm going to walk around with puke on my shirt today. It's a new normal. So,
Yeah, I have a 3 and a 1-year-old, and I don't have any clean clothes. So.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, but yeah, she's my pride and joy, that little one. So I love her very much.
Yeah, she's adorable. And I know everybody says this, but she really is one of the cutest babies I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're not biased. We're really not.
No, of course not. No.
She's very adorable. So, all right, Kate. So the next question I kind of have to modify a little bit, and we're going to start with Ryan on this one. You guys mentioned that before you started working together on Pop Psych 101, you each had your own podcast that you were working on. So on those individual podcasts, when you both first started doing it, what made you decide to do a podcast? Why a podcast?
Together.
No. Starting out before together.
Just on our own. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just the initial, because obviously when you're both doing a podcast and you see that you have a good working relationship, then it's a no-brainer. It's like, oh, well, we should work together, and I get that. Yeah. But the initial motivation to starting your own podcasts, why'd you do it?
Yeah, so for me, as a therapist, obviously, being in therapy, in sessions, all the time, having these type of conversations all the time, but also having this overarching feeling of, I wish more people had access to the insight that people develop on their own in these sessions. So I've always looked for ways to kind of spread that information in one way or another. I've written blogs, I've done speaking and workshops and things. And I've just found that, starting out doing the podcast stuff, that talking has always felt much more natural to me than writing. I do still write on the side, but I just love the sort of natural, and now especially having a co-host, conversational way to interact and talk about these issues. Just really opens the door to more people being able to relate, being able to connect to the information. And obviously we chose our topic, and I chose the topics that I've talked about because I've just been trying to find a way to make this information more accessible for people. So we can talk about mental health through the realm of pop culture, through the realm of movies and television where people talk about that stuff anyway. All the better for me, all the better that we can find ways to talk about stuff like bipolar disorder or PTSD or, we have an episode coming out on Monday about the therapeutic relationship in Good Will Hunting. So, so any way that I've been able to find to spread that information is really something that's attracted me. And to this point, podcasting has been the most enjoyable. I think it feeds, I'm also an improviser on the side, so it feeds that sort of off-the-cuff conversational stuff that I really enjoy.
Very cool. Very cool. We'll get Mike's side of it after our break.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're about 25 minutes in now, and we're going to take our first break, just in case you guys, I don't know, got to take a leak or something.
Oh, boy.
We're going to be listening
I got to go
David
be groovy.
Hernandez. Well, it'd be groovy if you had to go make a tinkle. So,
Please stop. Please stop.
We're going to listen to Dear My Future Self by David Hernandez. Stay tuned.
Dear my future self, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's hard to see when you're caught in the thick of it. It's hard to feel when you're trying just to forget. Looking in the rearview mirror, it's impossible to see ahead. Trying your best just to see things clearer and get out of your head. Yeah, I've been running in circles. It's a journey, it's a struggle, but I know when the world breaks, you stand tall. When you feel pain, you fight it up. When they go low, you go high, 'cause you're gonna rewrite the storyline. Those that don't believe in you, farewell. They try to keep you down, but time will tell. Take a leap of faith, you won't fail. Have the right to work, dear my future self. Dear my future self. It's hard to hear through the voice that's doubting you. It's hard to taste success when there's nothing new. Staring at yourself in the mirror, what's it now that you want to change? Feel like you're never gonna see things clearer. It's time to turn the page. Yeah, I've been running, I've been hiding with no peace. It's a struggle, to find me. When the world breaks, you stand tall. When you feel pain, you fight it up. When they go low, you go high, 'cause you're gonna rewrite the storyline. Those that don't believe in you, farewell. They try to keep you down, but time will tell. Take a leap of faith, you won't fail. Have the right to work, dear my future self. You gotta keep up, you gotta be strong. Don't lose the faith, you gotta keep on. You gotta keep up, you gotta be strong. Be strong, be strong. You gotta keep up, you gotta be strong. Don't lose the faith, you gotta keep on. You gotta keep up, you gotta be strong. Be strong. When the world breaks, You stand tall when you feel pain. You fight it off when they go low. You go high, you're gonna rewrite the storyline. Those that don't believe in you, farewell. They try to keep you down, but time will tell. Take a leap of faith, you won't fail. Ever write the word, and give my future self. Give my future self. Give my future self. Give my future self.
Hey, welcome back to Voices for Change 2.0. I'm Joe. She's Rebecca. And those guys over there, oh, they're a couple of groovy guys we happen to call Mike and Ryan from Pop Psych 101 in my best radio voice.
Yeah.
Stick around. I'll be here all week. Try the veal. Tip your waitress. So, all right. So we were talking about podcasts and what made you want to start. So, Mike, where was your motivation for starting your podcast before working with Ryan?
Okay, that would start when I was 13 years old, around, well, maybe 8.
Wow, really?
So, yeah, I'll go through this fast. When I was 8, I started my first creative project called the A&M Groovy Group, and we lip synced to the Archies and made dance steps. But I took it very seriously. And then I started drawing comics terribly and would send them to Marvel. And then when I was 13, I started a band and started playing pretty seriously. And let's see, when I was 15 and like 15 and a half, we got signed by a independent label, very small. But that was really cool because we got to go on, a couple of short trips and play a bunch of gigs and do, just rock around. And then I played music all the way up until I was about 28. But in between that time, I kept on creating, just never, ever stopped creating. So I had a YouTube channel with a couple of my friends that went viral. We got signed by a, oh my gosh, it's like a talent agency to write sitcom pitches. We got fired after a year because we were very unsuccessful. Yeah. And then, but the point of all that is that I just never stopped creating. So it's kind of a natural evolution. But speaking to the mental health aspect of it, last February of 2018, I went really, really, I guess you would call it, I would say it's like hypomania, but I got really, really focused. And those guys that I created a YouTube channel with, which are like my best friends, we started making a show that was for YouTube called Game Socket. And it was a parody show, kind of making fun of over-sensation of just everything. But we used video games to do that. And the podcast part of it was just the plot in the show because we videoed ourselves, but we were supposed to be podcasting. So the whole show was basically scripted. We were playing characters where the two hosts did not get along and basically screamed at each other and never got to video games.
That sounds entertaining as hell.
If you know what it is, it's pretty good, but we got a lot of hate because people couldn't tell that it wasn't real. And I was playing like an alcoholic. It was crazy, but I was going through some hard times this past year. One of the hardest years of my, battle with mental health. But I kept on making that, and that's how I got into podcasting because it was just kind of accidental. Just started doing it.
Wow.
And I met Ryan.
Excuse me, exceptionally creative person, sir.
Yeah, and I got to talk with you later about the whole music thing. I too have been playing music since I was 12, and
tell me how many years that's now.
That over 30 years I've been playing guitar. So Actually just reconnected with some old buddies of mine, and we started playing gigs again, and it's been great because I haven't done it.
It's amazing, I bet.
Yeah,
9 years.
7, 8 years, something like that. My last gig before a couple weeks ago was October of 2011. So
2010.
Yeah, no, 2011, babe. And so it's it's been really cool, kind of getting back into the whole groove of things, and it's been exciting for me. It's been cathartic, that's one thing that people don't realize when it comes to playing music. And like, well, why do you play music? And there's a lot of reasons for it, but one of them is there's just a catharsis, especially if you're playing, heavier rock like we do. You get out all these emotions and feelings, and it's great. You get done, and it's like a good workout.
Yeah, we had an episode on, we did codependency in A Star is Born. And
okay.
So we were talking about music, and Ryan was asking me about my musical history and how, since I'm 35 and I stopped playing music, like gigs and stuff, when I was 28. And we pointed out how Bradley Cooper's character, no matter how bad he felt, whenever he played, it seemed like all of that just disappeared because he was in the zone, and it's just this thing for him. And then, because we talked about leaving it when I was 28 and how it's such a huge part of your identity when you have been doing it so long that, so I can commiserate, because that many years between a gig, it's like finally getting back would be awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was especially cool because we didn't share the stage with them, but we shared the venue. We were playing the same night in the same place as Queensryche and Fates Warning, and that was awesome. Queensryche was a huge influence on me when I was a kid, and to meet, I met their lead singer, and I didn't get to talk to the one guitar player that's been with them from the beginning, but I was, within spitting distance of the guy, and that was really cool.
Yeah.
So, would have been cool if you spit on him.
No, I'm not going to spit on Michael Wilton. God, what's the matter with you?
I'm just being a smart aleck.
Yeah, you're good at it.
I am. I will accept that. It's not easy to be as good at it as I am.
Well, you are good at it, Michael. So, but no, it was a great time. It was for first gig back. It was, we had issues because it's first gig back, but it was still really cool. So, let's get back to our questions.
Yeah, let's back here.
It's your turn.
It's my turn. All right. So, Ryan, what made you decide to combine pop culture with mental health
in your podcast?
Yeah. So.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, so my initial podcast, I was, sort of having conversations both with people who experience mental health issues on their own and experts. So, talking about that stuff, talking about skills people can use. And, I found those conversations, while very useful, they felt kind of academic to me. I felt like I was in school. I wanted the conversations to be looser. I always felt myself wanting to have a little bit more fun, a little bit more casual. And as a result, I went on to the forums where Mike and I met, and I kind of put up a poll where I said, here's a couple ideas I'm throwing around of ways I could talk about this stuff differently. And by far, the movies, or I guess I should say mental health and pop culture, was by far the winner of the poll that I had up. And Mike actually reached out to me after I put that poll saying, hey, if you're going to do this, I would love to be a part of it. So, and I think, going back to college, it's always something I've just done anyway. I'll watch a movie, and, probably partially because I've been in school or been doing therapy for close to 15 years now. And I'll be thinking about that's a really interesting relationship dynamic. Meanwhile, my daughter's watching Frozen, and I'm like, man, I wonder what happened, between those sisters You know what I mean? Like, and that's just where my brain goes. I have to restrain it sometimes so I can just enjoy stuff. But I just love thinking about those sort of interactions and internal processes, and so that's the stuff that I find fun and interesting. And luckily for me, Mike did too. So here we are talking about it, making fools of ourselves, but hopefully in an entertaining and informative way for people.
And that's funny because I come from, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but my my family is, we were big movie watchers. I worked at both a movie theater, excuse me, I was a manager of a movie theater, and later I was a senior assistant manager of Blockbuster Video. So movies have always been a huge part of my life, and included with movies is Mystery Science Theater 3000.
For sure.
So
love it.
Yeah, and riff tracks now, of course, but I can't watch a movie without MST3K'ing it a little bit, you know.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I get where you're coming from, especially you know, a movie that I'm not particularly interested in watching. Maybe it's one of Joe's picks. Like what was that Johnny Depp movie you made me watch that was horrible?
Mordecai.
Oh wow.
Please, people, save yourselves. Do not watch this film.
You know, if you're of a certain fan of comedy of a certain type, it'll appeal to you.
The wrong type.
Stop. You know, Beck just is not. It's not her bag. Is basically the way I could.
It was terrible. Terrible movie. It was just absolutely. I
thought it was freaking hilarious. So,
but
then again, she also doesn't like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Wayne's World. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Oh man.
I know. I just shattered your whole view of her, didn't I?
Yeah, I don't know if we can continue the show.
Mike and I have very differing views on movies too. That's one of the nice things about our working relationship is that while we agree on some things, obviously mental health related, we also have probably weird preferences for certain things. So I think it's a good sign of our relationship as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Speaking of Bill and Ted really quick, August 2020, Bill and Ted Face the Music. Just saying.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Right, it's happening.
It's happening. Yeah.
So, out of curiosity, do you guys know? Either one of you can answer. What topic you did that was the most popular? Which film, which TV show, whatever you did, which one was the most popular for you guys?
Well, okay, so
go ahead, Mike. Yeah.
Okay, so our first episode we did probably has the most numbers behind it, but that's like been a slow trickle. But that was dissociative identity disorder in Fight Club. But our 16th episode, yeah. So we talked about like what dissociative identity disorder really is and how it's portrayed in Fight Club and how, you know, that's not how it really is. And which is what we do. We analyze the accuracy of this stuff. And so, but our fastest growing episode, we did major depressive disorder in Frozen's Elsa. And that one went real fast for us as far as people listening to it. And it still gets people listen to it.
Yeah, people love
you could if you haven't yet, you could revisit DID with Split too.
Yeah,
we've talked about that one.
We've talked about doing that one. Love
I'm
M. Night.
I'm a huge James McAvoy fan, but just because I have several friends that are coping with DID and their responses to the film and everything, I haven't wanted to see it because I didn't think that there was a lot of accuracy to it. So I'd be curious how you guys would kind of break that one down.
Yeah, and that's really another reason why we're doing the show is because we want to be able to tell, a wide audience, hey, this mental illness is being used as a plot device, and this is not something that you should have in the back of your mind when you hear someone say they have DID.
Right.
You shouldn't worry about them automatically becoming like a violent psycho beast killer or whatever James McAvoy is. And we want to dispel a lot of those rumors that I think people associate because of pop culture, because of movies and TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I've actually written a couple of blogs on different films and how the Hollywood has kind of gone in this direction with bipolar disorder, where it, you can be reading the description of a film and it's, man finds woman, marries woman, they're happy for a while, and then all of a sudden she flips out and tries to kill him because she's bipolar. And it's like they don't have any other reason anymore that people could flip out and want to kill somebody. It's always because they're bipolar. And I really think
or like they have some trauma, right? Or some trauma in their background. Oh, we learned that the villain was this happened to the villain, so now they're a terrible person. It's like trauma doesn't automatically mean someone's going to be bad or evil or it's going to hurt people.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly.
You want to go, babe?
Let's see what we got here. So where can people tune in to your show?
Okay, all of our social medias are at PopPsych101, everywhere. So wherever you go, you can find us there. If you don't know how to listen to podcasts, you can just go to PopPsych101.com, and it's on there, or from there you can follow that to many apps. But we are on, oh my gosh, everything, iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts. We're on all of them. Wherever you get podcasts, we're there.
Cool. That makes it easy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I got to check out some of the topics that you guys talk about because, it's to me it's fascinating. I actually just now remembering back in back in my college days, I actually took for my history class. I took History Goes to the Movies, and it was kind of cool because it broke down, we'd watch these movies that were supposedly based on history, and they would, then we would break it down. Okay, well, what's accurate, what isn't, this and that, where did they take poetic license and all that stuff. And to be able for you guys to do that with your show with mental health is really cool. I think I'm just fascinated by the whole concept, and good on you.
Yeah. We talk about, pop culture and movies and books and music and all that kind of stuff, but we don't
break it down.
Yeah, we don't break it down so much as the way you guys do it, and which is good because that means we can both coexist.
That's right.
Yeah, we all have our own stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just joking with you guys, but
we will cry.
Jeez.
I'm kidding.
Oh,
we're just the other corner of the same block. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but yeah, it's really, really interesting the way that you do it, especially when you've got someone who is actually in the medical field.
Yeah. That's
really, really cool. So I definitely want to get into listening to your show, and I didn't know as much about you guys prior to this interview, so I'm glad that we were able to have you on because, now I'm really interested in what you've got going on.
Hooray!
Well, thank you so much. We're glad we've left a good first impression.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that was the thing too, and we kind of approach our show like this is, little background for us, and you guys know this. We send out pre-interview questions to find out whatever topic our guests want to talk about, and then we'll have these basic questions that we'll ask. But we don't want to get too involved with the research because, you know, it is kind of a nice little discovery journey for us too, finding out, you know, what makes you tick and, you know, what your motivations are and all that stuff, and just getting to know you. You know, it's always easier getting to know people actually physically talking to them than it is, you know, by the written word.
Yeah.
Right. You would lose your
really
honest
quick.
reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Well, really quick, we've only got about 7 minutes left of the show, which has gone by really, really fast.
Yeah.
But I did want to get a couple of points in. First of all, Ryan, you had an article just come up. I believe it was on Medium, was it not?
That's right. Yeah. So I just published. Yeah. Thank you so much. So I just published an article on Medium in the Better Humans publication, and it is how to help someone who's experiencing a panic attack. So, you know, this is disconnected a little bit from the podcast, but I try to find through roads with all of the work that I do. So, you know, a lot of times, especially in movies and TV shows, they might show someone having a panic attack as this really intense, scary thing that is like very obvious. And the reality with panic attacks is that sometimes it could be quiet. Somebody can be very reserved, but internally really struggling. So I want to be able to educate people both on what a panic attack can look like, what a panic attack could feel like for people who haven't experienced them, and then honestly for what anyone can do for someone who might be experiencing a panic attack, how you can talk to them, how you should not talk to them. I think there are a lot of natural instincts that people have about how to support someone in that sort of experience that actually is counterproductive. You know, saying things like just calm down or relax or just go get some fresh air. You know, those are not necessarily things that would be helpful. So please feel free to check out the article on Medium. You can look it up through me, Ryan Engelstad, or through the Better Humans publication.
I always like to say never in the history of calming down has anyone calmed down by being told to calm down.
Exactly right.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of other ones similar to that like, because the reality is that the person witnessing the panic attack, they want you to be okay. You know, they need you to be okay so they can feel okay. So they're going to do whatever they think is going to help that happen as fast as possible. But that almost always ends up being a bad thing.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a meme we have on our computer that's a similar concept, you know.
Yeah, I think that particular quote I got from Bill Corbett from Riff Tracks, so thank you, sir, for that. But yeah, that's something that I just find hilarious and poignant at the same time. So we've got to get moving here and cram as many questions into this last few minutes as we possibly can.
Yeah. So really quick, talk with us about your Facebook discussion group, please.
Sure. So
mental health.
Go ahead, Mike.
Go, Ryan. Oh, okay. So mental health, it's called Pop Psych 101 Mental Health Chat, and it's, you know, attached to our actual page, but it's the group. And what it is a mental health support and discussion group for fans of the show or not fans of the show. It is not required to listen to the show to join it. It's a closed group where you can come and say whatever it is that you're feeling or needing. Everyone is super supportive of it or in it. They're very supportive. We do a lot of joking, but the group is probably the best thing about like what we do because the people in there are really just awesome.
It's very cool.
Yeah, absolutely,
so
very cool.
We hadn't intended on creating that, but I agree with Mike. It's one of the best things that's come about as a result of what we're doing. So we're very proud and grateful for the people in the group.
Cool. So what comes next for you guys? What do you hope to accomplish?
Other than the generic like growth answer, you know, we want to get our message out to as many people as possible. I think we are planning on having more guests. You know, recently we did an episode where we had our wives actually come on and talk about postpartum depression. Not that either of them have necessarily experienced it, but just to offer other perspectives than two married straight white guys. So we want to provide an opportunity to people with other voices and other experiences to also share their perspectives on these issues that we're talking about. So we're hoping to do more of that for sure.
Yep.
Cool.
We
That's
were on
very exciting.
satellite radio. We were on satellite radio, but the insurance company, which is like St. Joseph, that was paying for our station, just canceled us, so we're off now.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Well, hopefully we can find another avenue back on there soon, because that's some great exposure right there.
Yeah.
You know, very exciting. And once again, for everybody, because you guys were so kind enough to make it so convenient to find you on social media, everything is at Pop Psych 101.
Yep.
That's right. POPESYCH, and then the digits 101. Everywhere you can find us.
That's cool. And nice and compact.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's bite size, if you will.
Makes it simple.
Yeah. All right, guys.
We are really, really grateful to you guys for coming on today and for putting up with us. We were a little bit loopier than usual this morning after the week we had.
Yeah.
So thanks for
totally
putting
understand.
up with us.
Thank you guys for having us on.
Yes.
Oh, it was our pleasure. Yeah, if anything big comes up in the world of Pop Psych 101, we would love to have you guys back on because it was a blast talking to you.
Yeah, definitely.
It was a lot of
We'd
fun.
love to, yeah.
And, stay on the line. We're going to finish out the show with Casey Lansdale and Living in the Moment. Have a
See you
great
next
week,
week,
everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Easy to get off track, easy to lose your way. In a world that makes you believe there's no time to wait, that you gotta have it all, better have it all, better not slow down. Looking ahead got me looking in circles. Life with a plan at first seems hopeful. Worry that I won't make it like I want if time keeps flying by. But you gotta have faith, don't let it slip away. Don't let the world drive you crazy. 'Cause I got a feeling if we keep believing, all that matters is right now. Forget about forever. Your path's already chosen. Start living in the moment. This old world keeps spinning, spinning every day. Just when you think it stops, there's an earthquake rushing you along, telling you to move along. You gotta give yourself a break. You gotta have faith, don't let it slip away. Don't let this world drive you crazy. 'Cause I got a feeling if we keep believing, all that matters is right now. Forget about forever. Your path's already chosen. Start living in the moment. Start living in the moment. Get caught up in tomorrow. You'll miss out on today. 'Cause you gotta have faith. Don't let it slip away. Don't let this world drive you crazy. 'Cause I got a feeling if we keep believing, all that matters is right now. Forget
Join us next week as Rebecca and Joe continue to battle the stigma of mental illness. Follow us on Twitter at Voices for Change RJ and on Facebook at Voices for Change 2.0.